Hello, everyone. So, yeah, welcome to tonight's session. Tonight, we are going to continue from last week's lesson where we learned about UI UX design principles, we learned about color theory, and all that. Today, we're going to go a bit deeper to learn about design systems, what they are, the difference between a style guide, and then we try creating a design system and a style guide with a little bit of an activity we're going to do. So, what are what is our agenda for today? As I said earlier, we're going to learn what a design system is, what a style guide is, the responsive design principles, and just a practical session we're going to do. So, what is a design system? A design system is a collection of reusable components, guidelines, and standards. When we say reusable components, we learned about consistency in the UI design principles, and we realized that for the users to know that they are still on the same platform they're interacting with, we have to make sure that elements such as buttons, text, and all that they have to be consistent. How do we maintain that? We use colors, size, spacing, and all that. And sometimes it's very tiring to replicate all these same elements. Say you're designing close to 40 screens for a mobile app. So to solve this problem, we have components, and components is basically reusable design elements like buttons, icons, cards, know that. And once you sum up these numerous components you are using throughout your design, we create something like a data bank. Should I say, yeah, a bank, or in a real world, we'll call it a wardrobe, where you can keep the first design, the main design that you created as a component, and then you can easily come and pick replications of it, pull replications of it in your design. The guidelines are basically your defined spacing, your defined parameters for every single element that you say. Maybe for this particular screen or this particular card, the spacing is going to be maybe 16 and all that. Because you work with developers, for them to be also know the specific parameters you have used in the design, that's why we create these design system for them to also have something. And in the design system, you have the guidelines and then the standards, so they follow to design it according to they follow to code it according to what you designed. So why does a design system matter? It helps us design consistently. It also saves us time. As I said earlier, imagine you created one button on the first screen and design. You're supposed to replicate this button on 40 plus screens. Trust me, it's going to take you hours to redesign this same button over and over again, and even copying over again. But then if you have just a main component there, you can just pull it up and then put it on all the screens at once. It also helps teams, it helps teamwork between designers and developers. As I said earlier, designers we design for developers to code, and they have to get something to work with, a guideline to work with. That is the design system we're talking about. An example of a design system is the Google Material Design. So if you watch closely, Android and iOS, when you look at the phone interface and specifically the apps, you realize that the text and everything they are different. Why? Because they have created a design system that works well for Android phones and iOS phones. So something like a theme or a brand guideline for creating products, digital products, when users are interacting with iOS and then Android. You see that they are different. So you can check them out. You can check iOS also has their design system, yeah, it follows almost every single thing you see in your interfaces when you're interfacing with the iOS phones. So let's talk about icons and buttons. Icons, they are just simple visual symbols that communicate actions. Example, the trash bins, the delete, and all that. The icons give meaning to text in a nutshell. For instance, if I write trash, trash, a layman may find it very hard to understand, but then if I have a bin closer to the trash, I understand that this is actually trash, so you can dump your rubbish in it. Icons just give a deeper meaning to text. Then we learn buttons. Buttons are main triggers for actions. It lets the user know that when you actually click on this particular button, it is going to trigger an interaction. So it helps them know that these elements are interactive to get results. Key rules for creating icons and buttons. Keep icons simple and recognizable. If you look at the apps and then the softwares you interface with, you realize, especially for the home icon, it runs consistently. Why? Because in a natural mind, when you see a house, you know that it is a home. So designers have leveraged on this particular knowledge to be able to create the home icon similar to the reality so that it can be easily recognizable by the users. Buttons must stand out by color, size, and shape, and then it's the style you use for particular screen should run through. You don't create one small button on this screen, then on the next screen the button is so long that it extends to the phone's padding. Now, the difference between a design system and a style guide. A design system is a very, very huge data bank. In this case, I'll call it a large room of service. Let me put that way. I'll call it a large room of service. Why? Because it has plenty. It has sub service. Sorry, have sub service that make the room a room full of service. It has a lot of components. It houses a lot of components, a lot of things. Like sometimes it takes companies or designers years, sometimes even up to a year to build a design system. My company, for instance, it took them 2 to 3 years to build their design system. And once you get a design system, like it makes your work so easy and faster. But because the time it takes to create a design system is quite cumbersome, that's why we have a style guide. A style guide is a mini version of your design system. I'll show you a design system very soon. It's a mini version of a design system. It gives you the specific things that you will need to design consistently across all your screens just for you to work with, either than you waiting for years and days and months to create a design system to work with. We're going to look into that very soon. Now let's talk about responsive design. Responsive design is simply making designs adapt to different screens. If you look at the image right here, you see that on the desktop it looks a bit different for the tablets. On a tablet, it has a different orientation. On mobile, it has a different orientation because of the screen size. So, as designers, when we are designing for our digital products, we must keep in mind to design our screens responsively so that it can adapt to all screen sizes no matter the device the user is using to access our digital product, whether it's a website or a mobile app. Now, how do we ensure our designs are responsive? Use flexible grids. We've learned how to create grids. We will do that again. Then scalable typography. When we talk about scalable typography, for instance, you see that the text on the desktop here is quite larger. When it comes to the laptop, it's quite lesser, it's smaller. When it comes to the tablet, it's quite smaller and all that. So this should be a font. When we say scalable font, it should be able to be reduced and increased to fit the screen size. Then we come to images. Your images must be able to resize without breaking the layout. If you look at the cards that we have on the desktop, realize that when it comes to tab laptop, it is not distorted. It is literally the same. When it comes to tablets, it is still, the cards are not distorted. The image is not reduced. It's still the same width and height that as it was on the tablet and then the laptop. You come to mobile too. It's still the same width. Just that the orientation of the whole screen, the entire screen has rather changed because of the screen layout. Now, let's start with our activity. But first off, I am going to show us a design system that I am working on. Yeah. So let me just click on the link. It will take us directly to my design system that I'm building. giving me a different window. Let me just change it. Yeah. Okay. So this is my personal design system that I started building because I realized that when I am working on projects, I have to design multiple times. That it drains me. So I have created a sample design system that I work with now. I come to pick my components, then I'll bring it to the project that I'm designing for. I break it and then I adjust it to it. So in a design system, you have your colors, you have your grid and spacing, you have your typography, your components, your modals, devices, your shadows. A lot, like it entails a lot. Every single thing that contributes to a better design, it includes in a design system. So that's why I say it's very, very huge. It takes a lot of time to create. So you can see that for my colors, I've added sample colors and their shades and all that just for to help me get reusable elements and then also for developers to have something to work with. So I have just created that. This is the color section. When I come to the next section, which is the icons, I have compiled a list of icons that I can use for any project that I'm working on. It's still under progress, you see. It's taking me time, but then it's worth it. So these are the groupings of my icons. I'm still working on that. Then we come to the grid and spacing. So the grid and spacing is basically the spacing you defined for every single device: desktop, tablet, laptop, mobile. And sometimes we even have smartwatches too. The product you are designing for. So you define the spacing that you used in the product in your design so that the developers would follow to code as exact as possible. And you can also use it in you can also keep this in mind too, used to design on all other screens. So you see, I have defined my spacing for all the various screens, the spacing I use. We have the 4 points grid system, we have the 8 points grid system, and then these are some device samples. If I turn on the grid right now, you should be able to see me use it. Just to give me an idea of how the grid looks like. Then you come to the components. As I said earlier, components are reusable elements we use in our design to maintain consistency. I told you, still is taking me time to build, but then it's worth it. Creating it from scratch. These are this is a component. If you see anything in this purple borderline, it is actually a component. You see main card component. So this is a visual view of how a design system looks like. Here I have defined some fonts, their hierarchy that I could also reference when I'm designing for any project at all. I can just come here, pick it up, and then use it. You see here I have defined the types of fonts that we have just for me to work with. So if I know that if I need to work with the serif font, I could come here or find inspiration and then use it. This is also the type. So this is me defining such for my reference and for developers. We have the modals. The modals consist of a lot. The cards that you use, all of them are modals. The device types, I have defined them for me to be able to use it to guide me here. Then I have some keypads I have added to it. So you see, as I was saying, a design system is very large. And imagine if you have a project and you're supposed to meet the deadline in 2 weeks. You can't build this because it's taking me days and months to be able to build this. And if you have time, if you can make time, you can just get the point. So I'm building for iOS and then Android for me to be able to work faster and effective. Now let's look at a style guide. See, I have a style guide here. me just find one. So Figma is loading a bit. Yeah. I this. Yeah, so as I was saying, the style guide is just a mini version of the design system. So it helps you work very fast and all that. A style guide also has just the main things that you need to maintain consistency in your design. So here you can see that I have defined my colors, I have defined my tokens, I have defined my font typeface, the basic things that I'll need for consistency in the design. So you can see here I've added the logo, the input field, the buttons, the alerts I'm using. See, just a few things that I need. These are the modals I was talking about. This is a modal, this is a modal, this is a modal. See, just the things that I need to design. Can keep all of them here on just one sheet. Compile them all of them to one sheet for your reference. So also guide developers on how to design it according to what you have designed. So now let's get to our activity. As we said earlier, we are going to um, try and create a style guide. And recheck our activity again. Yeah, yeah. So we are going to redesign a simple login page using the design system approach. Then choose a consistent pattern style, an icon for input field, email and password, and show the desktop and the mobile version type. So we're going to start, but then you guys will continue and you will send in your works. So let me just keep it here. Just taking a screenshot of the task so that we have something we're working with. Yeah. Great. So we are going to start by creating our button since it's the first one. The first. I don't know, auto layout button. Give it a 40. Give it a bolder font, medium font works. I change the color to something beautiful. Let's go for green. Green works well. Great. So now we have our button. Now, say we are going to use this button on almost every screen we are designing, and we are designing for 40 screens. Yeah, this is where we create components. So, once you have created your button frame, you come here. Once you've run it, to say it's create a component, that means you are creating, you are saving it so that you can come and pick it up and then use it in a particular screen. So once I click on create a component, you see it happens. So in this case, you can add properties. You can add the text property, which is changing the text in the sign up. So let's say, let me give it a name, button description. I give it sign up. Then let me pick an icon from here. Bring it. Oh no, let me just add an icon here. So that I can use it across all screens. I won't have to recreate different buttons. So let's say let me bring check mark. So you see, once I inserted, because it's an auto layout that's already entered, so I can decide the position of it. Then let me see if I can increase the size of it. Great. So now I have my icon in my button. We are creating our design system. Oh, great. So now I've created it. Let's see, I'm giving all my buttons rounded corner 4 to keep the sharp edge off. Now I'm going to add a property, boolean property to it, so that I can turn on and off the icon. So one component, you see, I'm adding all the properties. So that means that I don't have to recreate the specific buttons I need for every screen. Now we have our button ready. What I'm going to do is I'm going to apply the properties to the specific elements. You see that once you click on this icon helps you apply properties to it. You see, apply variable or property. So I have applied it to the button text here. For the icons, you find it down here as appearance. So now if I bring a component of it here, if I control D, you realize that the diamond is now in a stroke form. Let me bring it here. See, the properties are affecting it. So let me just bring it here. So I can turn off the icon and you see once I turn it off, it goes off. So if I change the text, log in, see, has changed. That's how we create components, and now we'll be storing them in our design system. Now let's create the input field. So the same approach, email. Also gonna add here, we're going to use the auto layout. Let's give it 16. Okay, no, let's just give it 10. Then let's give it a stroke because it's an input field. Yeah, rounded corner of 4 pixels. Move the sharpness. Let's name this input field. Now we still need the icon because we'll be turning it off and on. Let me just change the icon to the eye icon. So we know that this is an input field, email and password. So in here too, we're going to create a component. Add some properties. Let me just add the label before I create components out of it. So let's see here, that's the label. So this is the email placeholder, this is the email label. So I'm going to add auto layout, shift A to keep it 1, give it 4, so it's together. Text field. Oh, yeah. Then I put a component out of it. So saying here, properties are gonna do email placeholder. Let's keep it email. Let's add boolean property for the label. Label create, and let's add a boolean for the icon. So boolean is basically to true or false. Yeah. So now let's apply. We have email. No, it's not supposed to be. So let's add the label. Yes. This is the email placeholder because it's the text property, then the icon. So now see, I bring one here and I see I could easily turn it on and off and it works. Now let's add the grade. So grade, we've not created any guide styles. So we just add, no, it's adding to, we just add it to the guide. We normally, you can go with the columns. For mobile, we normally go with 4 if you are using the 8-point grading system. Give the margin 24 or 16. Yeah, margin 24. The gata 16. So now we are going to use this grade amongst, like, across, let's say, 30 screens. We can't come and be recreating them one by one. So what we do is we click on here, give you layout style guide. Then you can save it. Say mobile grade. Once you turn it on somewhere, say email. Look at this, bring it here. See this? This is, let's change this one. Say password, password, password. Let's turn this, the label text. I should have added the label text to it too. So for the email, we don't really need the icon to be turned on. We're just gonna keep it as it is. And in case the case it goes off. Yeah, so you set it to fill. Now let's see if you can add the phone number. Let's go. Yeah.
Hello, good evening. How are you?
Everything is good. How about you?
I'm doing well, bro. Did you come to meet the class?
I didn't come. I think I was late. I just joined.
Oh, Aba,
So you are you
yeah,
guys?
Dave.
Hey, why it was 20 minutes on?
I also just joined.
Ah, okay. Cause I've seen that UX now. So it's like I'm recording the lesson. Okay. I think I will have access to the classroom and
All
YouTube.
right. Yeah, probably.
This weekdays there, like I said the other day, doesn't really help. See Monday like this.
Yeah. So now that we have created a few reusable components, this is how we make our style guide. Style guide, we say you can separate them on different pages, but then best advice when you're starting, put them all on one page. Then you just give them divided sections. So say buttons. You want them to know that these are the buttons that you use. Just create a simple label here. Bring it here. Now we come and cut these components that we've created. And bring them here. Then they'll know that this is the buttons that we are using. So if we personally we are designing for other, we are adding more screens, say We've added another screen, and we need the buttons. This is how you pull your button. Bring it here. You come to all libraries created in the file. You see that created in the file, we have the text field, and then so you just pull it here like that, and that's it. So you see, it makes it very easy. So you can pull it and then just place it on multiple screens if it is 40, 50, 60 in order. Yeah. So I am just gonna pause here. I would want you to recreate the activity. As I said, redesign a simple login page using the design system approach that we just learned. We actually learned the style guide approach. Choose a consistent button style, add an icon, show the desktop and the mobile version. So let me change this to the desktop. So desktop, yeah. So I can easily have it here. So it is scalable, you see. This is what we mean by scalable. You can resize it in. I can increase the font type, the font size, increase the height of it for the desktop sake. You can use it anywhere. I bring this to, let me just duplicate it, bringing it on the desktop view. You see it's scalable. Can resize it however I need it to be. You see the essence of a style guiding design system. Okay. Now, for the colors, let me show you how we generate it. So this is a cheat sheet. We normally use we normally use plugins to be able to do that. So let me first bring out my sheet here. Desktop. We're going to name it. Let me cut it and bring it to our style guide here. I'm going to name it colors. So because a plugin is going to generate it, you might want to bring out another sheet to be able to do that. So this plugin is called Tailwind. It's called Tailwind. Yeah, Tailwind TSS color generator. It helps you generate color styles for your project. So say you already have a color code in mind, or you found some inspiration on the internet, you just come and paste the color code here, and then it will generate the color swatches. These are color swatches for you, or the various shades and hues of it. So let me using the free version, yes. So okay, Lima, my contact with Export Pro. Oh, I'm not exporting, but why? Initially it was, well, let me see. Let me try this plugin. So that's the plugin that I'm sure when you hop on it for the first time, it will allow you to use the free ones, but now I don't know why it's telling me to use a pro. Let me try Fig Identity. It should work. So Fig Identity is also used to generate like design systems very very fast. So you can, it has a color swatch generator you can also utilize. Also comes with the free and then the paid version. So I have to log in and authenticate in the web. Alright. Okay. Try again. Alright. So we are back. Use the plugin. Sorry, taking time to load. Yeah, great. So, as I was saying, so it has basic things you can generate for your design system. Primary color. If you have a color code, you can enter the color code somewhere. Yeah, add another color. Say secondary. You choose the color. You add the paste your color code here. You add the number of swatches to generate. The swatches was also I was showing you the sheets. No? You should generate. You leave these ones for now. Then you add. So now I'm going to just utilize these colors. Then you click on create color variables in Figma. So it's automatically going to create these color variables in your Figma. You see that has added new frames here. You see it has added new pages. Great. So it's exporting it, cleaning up. Like it helps you create it very fast. That's an advantage of it. Uh-huh. So now let's go and check it out. You see it has created new pages. The colors that we are using has added the hex code and everything for the developers to understand, and also you too. Then each color you see the primary color, the header text and all that. So you define what you want and then to generate for you. Then now that it has generated it, what do? We just copy it and then come and paste it here in our style guide. Just paste it here. So first thing first, you're starting with the color. Then we go like that. Then now our font. Let me just add one more thing. Then we are. So now let's try font. This particular. Hmm. Let me see. Does this one work? Okay, let's try this one. So there's this particular font I want to use that I have. Do I have work sans? No, I don't have work sans. See. Okay. I haven't really acquainted myself with this plugin, so let me choose another plugin. Font. Yeah, let's try this one. So there are many ways of generating your font typeface, but these are a few cheat sheets to generate yours in Figma. So let me see if I can find work sans. Okay, I found work sans. Then I select it. It gives me variations of it. I can choose to download it. Let's say that I don't want to download. It's showing me pairs that I could. Let's see if I'm downloading it. So it has pasted it in my canvas. So you see, it has generated the work styles. It has generated the font styles for me, the size and its sizes and all that. Now, there's a very quick way to create the font styles in your design. Let me just add that up and see. Font style. Yeah, the type skill. Yeah. The type skill, we have various ones. So once you able to define your font typeface you want to use, say work sans, types here is going to generate variations of it, just as I showed you in the design system. Okay, the number of variations you want. This is the size. So always for the scale, go with the minor third. Go with what is suggested, because that is what's it's. This is what the normal standard designers use. So once you are done, this is the content you're going to create. The quick brown fox, and round it if you want to round it to the nearest whole pixel. So that's so it's going to create a typeface. You see, it has added all the fonts to here for you, so you can have a variation of it. So once I click here, it has still not added the font faces. It's not this particular plugin, so it's the other one. The other one will generate it and add it to your color styles. Your styles, this one, this particular one. Yes. So we are just going to delete all these. Great. Let me bring this here a bit. And now bring this here. So the base size is 16, scales, line points, the line heights. So the highest pixel is going to generate is 61. The lowest is 10. See, I want the lowest to be 8. It's okay, 50 is fair enough. Round the values. Let me see. Round them. Okay, around them. So it's going to generate. You see, this is the first presentation I'm looking for. So this is it. It has created the presentation for me. Now I can add it to my designs, my style guide. So I bring it here for developers to have a guide to on the font I'm using, the size. They normally deal with rem, so they have it here. Now let's see if it's added. It didn't add it. So now there's a particular font that there's a particular plugin that generates your fonts. Let me see, font style. Stylist, is it stylist? Font styles generator. Let me see if it's that one. The plugins are plenty. Let me see if it is this particular one. You select it and then okay. Okay. So it is generating the font style for me. The lowest should be 8. Yeah. Let me see if it's going to create the font styles. It's also creating it. Aha. So this is what I'm talking about, the textiles. So just to save you time, use a plugin to add the style so that you can easily pick it and then use it. So say in my design, let's go back to, let me change this to design. Say in my design here, now that I've created my fonts, my textiles, I want to change it to this. So you click on here, this grid icon. It will give you all the font textiles. Then now I can increase it. I'm increasing and I'm decreasing. That's to help me work very faster. So you see, this is how we use it. So this will bring us to the end of today's lesson. I'll be watching out for your design, and you can drop in the comment section any questions you have, anything you want us to discuss. Then if there's not anything more, I would pause here. God willing, next week I will see you in our next lesson. Have a lovely evening. Bye.